Welcome to Raise Women, the podcast. I'm your host, Tash, and this is a space where we are all about raising up women in areas of faith, life, and the marketplace. Don't forget to stay connected and join the conversation through our Instagram and Facebook pages at Raised Women Podcast. Welcome back, Cynthia.
Thank you, Tash.
In this particular segment, In Her Shoes, we are continuing to explore addiction and recovery, which is clearly an area that Cynthia is extremely passionate about. And carrying on, Cynthia, from where we left off, for those who haven't experienced addiction, how would you describe what it feels like to be in the grip of it?
Sometimes it's like you're not in your own body. It's like something else has taken control of you. It's always negative. It's not really a positive thing. It can trick you into thinking it's a positive thing, like, oh, it's going to be great, it's going to be amazing, but it never feels really like inside your own body. You're kind of a bit out there. Then when you're fully in it, and you start to realize that you're powerless over it, you become so full of despair and anxiety and powerless. Like if you can feel that absolute, like you have no choice. Like that's the number one thing I reckon that addiction does to me. It takes away all of my choices. It can change my values. It can change my ideas within seconds. Powerlessness.
What I'm going to do now is I'm going to speak to some common misconceptions and when it comes to addiction and recovery. Why do those in addiction choose that?
This is a big one. Like this is one even as an addict I've questioned many times. When I was in addiction, I was in so much trauma, I actually thought that was the only way I could escape the trauma. But now I look back and when my disease is at its worst and my addiction is in play, what I really think a real addict is someone who just, it doesn't matter what's happening. All of a sudden my mind just starts to go there and it's not even a choice anymore. Like it becomes, and it usually starts way before I actually make that choice to use. It's something else first. It's a negative feeling they don't want to deal with. It's stressful things they're trying to escape, and they'll just start to disassociation from themselves, and then all of a sudden it's not a choice anymore. It just becomes the only option in our minds, and it truly makes us believe that it's going to be the answer to what the problem is.
Another misconception: addiction only happens with drugs and alcohol.
Drugs and alcohol are an easy one to talk about. Addiction is reeled in everything. There's lots of things of addiction and just like drugs and alcohol, there is people that can abuse drugs and still not be an addict. There's people that can abuse alcohol and not be an addict, an alcoholic. But an addict is someone who, anything that helps us escape how we're feeling. And sometimes that's even good feelings. We want to feel better, so we want more of. Anything that we'll escape ourselves from can become an addiction.
If it causes the things it does to yourself and others, why don't you just stop?
Yeah, that definitely is something that you tell yourself over and over again. This is what I used to say to Christians. There's this hole in the back of my head, and when I'm not praying and when I'm not focusing on my program and when I'm not turning it over and I'm a bit complacent, that little demon gets back inside my head. And that little demon, when he's in my head, he rules all my thoughts. Every day I wake up with that little demon ruling my thought patterns. And everything that we do puts that demon to sleep. But that demon's just waiting until I'm not doing my program, until I'm not focused on my higher power or God. It's till I'm complacent. As soon as I'm complacent, that little demon, it rules my thoughts. I don't even know what's going on half the time because it's not my thoughts, it's the addict's thoughts. And I like to separate it and make it a separate person to me, because the first time you get hit, you think, what happened? Oh my God, I can't believe I let that happen. The thing is, once it's happened once, it's easier to do it again. So I didn't walk away because I was so dumbfounded at what happened. The next day it happened again. And then it just became this habit that I was allowing to happen because I've already survived it once. I can do it again. That's what using's like. Sometimes it just becomes, but you did it before. It's going to be okay. It's going to be different this time. It's going to be different this time. It's going to be different this time.
Another misconception: if you stop an addiction, you're cured and fixed.
I've seen people swap to lesser drugs so they think they're better. I've seen people give up and them give up on really important values to themselves to live a life where they can just drink or whatever. I haven't ever seen anybody be cured and healed. If we could stop, we would have. That's the truth. If we could just stop without any of the work and any of the thing, there's so many of us that would have stopped.
In your words, how is addiction a sickness?
My head tells me, still to this day, nothing's changed. You're still that person you were 20 years ago. You should just give up now. Like, it's just lies to me all the time. We have a broken filter. And like, I had a broken filter from my childhood, but anyone that uses drugs breaks their filter. So you can have the best upbringing, and then as soon as you take drugs, you've broken your filter. And that filter becomes about the drug. And it will find any reason, good, bad, to keep going.
The journey to recovery, what were the biggest challenges that you faced when you decided to truly seek recovery?
So I had the 2 children that I had to leave behind to go to rehab. That was pretty hard. I guess my mum, and I guess which is really sad, she went in, when I was in rehab, she went to jail. And because I was pretty remeshed with her, I'd spent my whole childhood, protecting her and then using with her and then hurting her, it was very enmeshed. So mum going away was actually the best thing for me in my recovery, because I couldn't have stayed if that enmeshment was very strong. So to really commit to recovery, I had to commit to being a mum, and that was really hard. But like I said, my mum going to jail, actually, I had no other choice. There was nobody else. Like, I dedicated myself to recovery, and that was a lot easier for me than using.
What role does shame play in the experience of addiction?
So the difference between guilt and shame for me is like shame. I've got guilt over things I've done, and guilt is healthy. Guilt tells me what is right and wrong in my value system. But shame feeds into the addiction. Like I talked before, the addiction is like this demon in my head that feeds off the negativity, and so it brings shame, and what shame it does with that is it punishes me over and over again. But it punishes me in a way where it tells me you are never going to be good enough, so you might as well use. Rising above that shame and acknowledging and not like, because like a lot of people will do this, like, I've got nothing to be guilty for, I don't care, and like kind of thing, because they're trying to rise above the shame. But rising above the shame in a healthy way, which says, I am extremely sorry and guilty for what I did to you, but I'm not going to let you or myself beat myself up anymore. Rising above healthily is really hard work for someone who's, like I said, 15 years, I punished myself with my addiction for being me. So shame loves that. Like it feeds off that. It feeds off the shame, because shame you're not supposed to wallow in it. You're not supposed to be wallowing in your thing. You're supposed to acknowledge it, your guilt. You're supposed to take action to make amends and move forward and not keep repeating the mistake.
What resources or support systems were essential in your recovery process?
So I do meetings, a very big part of what I use. Fellowship, like that connection. So at first, I needed people like me. I needed that. I needed to know that I am not the only one doing this hard work. So I needed that kind of fellowship. As I got cleaner, I found value in church fellowship. Number one, I definitely need a mentor of a solid kind that does understand where I'm coming from. Yeah, that's been life-changing for me again in the last couple of years. Like, she is life-changing for me. The other night, she was a bit hard on me, and she said, I just want you to know that I can see the growth, and it's not actually, this isn't a big mess up. But I said to her, but you called me on my lie. You called me on a lie. And it was a half truth. She was able to call it. She's like, something's not right here, and I need that. Like, I solidly need that, because I will just go off in my little fantasy, think I'm okay, but I'm not, I got 20 years, I'm being all good, because I didn't have any accountability as a child.
To anyone who's listening, what are some practical ways loved ones can support someone in addiction?
This one is tricky, because the number one thing I always say to people is you need to look after you. If they're in recovery, it's different. The love and care that we give people that are in recovery, doing the work is very different to giving it to someone who's actually using. Because someone who's in addiction, like I said before, sometimes it's not them you're talking to. You're not talking to your loved one anymore. If they're in the grips of it, it is not your loved one that's giving you flack. It's not your loved one ripping you off. It's the disease. And when the disease is in full control, everything you know about that person goes out the window. And that's the honest truth, and that's the saddest part about it. And they can come in and out of it, but until they've stopped and they're making choices that are based around some sort of recovery, they're not the person that you love. They're this disease. Number one, I always say, loved ones, please look after yourself first, because if you do not look after yourself, you're just enabling them. Have very clear boundaries, like very clear what is okay with you and what's not. Unfortunately, for someone who doesn't have any clue about addiction, you only know that once it's been broken. For me, I have to have a sober house, so it's no alcohol in my house. If they're not willing to do the basics, like go to rehab, go to counselling, do a program of any kind, if they've been in a program and they're not willing to go back to it or something like that, the best you can do is look after your side of it. Unfortunately, I am of the hard love kind of thing. An addict can't get recovery through force or for a loved one. They have to do it because they're ready. Like my daughter was a pivotal part of that, but being sick and tired of myself, that's the only way I got recovery.
For women who might be struggling right now, potentially listening to this, what message would you want them to hear?
That it's definitely possible to change your life and be happy again. It's definitely possible, but you can't do it on your own. And it's okay not to be okay when you are trying to do this stuff. We're not meant to be doing this on our own.
What is it that you're so passionate about when it comes to raising women up in this particular area of addiction and recovery?
How are women supposed to learn how to be with other women if other women aren't there to support them? So I've really made an effort to make sure that I'm one of those women that supports women. What it's given me is I've learned to love myself in a different way, supporting women, like being there for women, watching women grow. And also women are the protectors of our next generation, a lot of them. And that giving women the strength and the voice to say it's okay not to be okay is raising children who are healthier and happier. We are taught, especially in addiction, and this is the saddest thing, especially raised in addiction, we are taught to compete with other women. We are taught that women are toys, objects. You either be an object or you be something else. And that women, and so women become manipulating and thing for drugs. Like it's very, very toxic. So in recovery, teaching women that I am safe and being safe for women heals something in all of us, and it counteracts that negative drive that women have to compete with each other.
Is there anything else that you would like to highlight around addiction and recovery and getting that understanding out there?
Just to sum it up, addiction is a serious matter. It's not this, they're just using or they're not using. It's actually a serious lifelong disease that kills people. But there's so much hope and wonder, in recovery, watching people in recovery. It's life-changing to see people when they're actually doing the work to better themselves, to see the change. It is actually possible. It's not easy. My key thing is it's not easy. It's not easy at all. It's not even the magic thing that you think it's going to be, but it's so worth it. It's so worth it on so many levels, and just see generations change because of it, because of recovery. Because 20 years ago, I chose to do something different than my parents did. To see my children doing something different than I did is just amazing. And it's not, not perfect, but it's beautiful. And it is a serious matter, and it takes serious work.
It takes a lot of boldness and courage to be able to share what it is that you have today. So when I say thank you for, one, giving of your time, two, sharing what you have, that truly is an understatement.
Oh, thank you for having me. It was awesome.
Well, this is Raise Woman, the podcast. I'm your host, Tash, and if you missed part 1 of Cynthia's story, check out episode 20. And if you're struggling with addiction or you know someone who is, I hope this episode helped you. Small announcement, we have an online huddle coming up in October, Ladies with Side Hustles, for all those working women or mums out there with a bit of a side business. Check out raisedwoman.com.au for more information. Thanks for joining us. Stay blessed.